Yep. Okay. Go!
Will you hand me my screen box?
Now go. We are here in the matters of Lita Borghazi versus Kenzie Williams and Kenzie Williams versus Lita Borghazi. Case numbers 25-05863PH and 25-05737PH. This hearing is being recorded on Zoom and live streamed on YouTube.
And this matter comes before the court on Ms. Borghazi's motion to appeal my denial of her request for a personal protective order, and also her motion to terminate a protective order that I granted in favor of Ms. Williams. Additionally, I did receive an order to show cause on an alleged violation. That isn't technically before the court today, so I can arraign that if we do keep the PPO in place. Of course, if I terminate the PPO, the violation becomes a sort of a moot point after that. So let's take these items, I guess, one at a time. And I think the one that makes most sense is to take first Ms. Borghazi's appeal of my order that I granted favoring Kenzie Williams. In that case, Ms. Williams has to sustain at least two incidents that would make her feel threatened or harassed in order to sustain the order. So I can take some testimony from you at this time. Ms. Williams, if you'd raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Very good. And Ms. Williams, would you state and spell your name for the record, please?
Kenzie Williams, KINSEYWILLIAMS.
Very good. And my understanding, Ms. Williams, is you live at 39 Grand Street in Casnovia, and that is that direct neighbors to Ms. Borghazi?
Yes.
Okay, so she is adjacent to you as your next door neighbor. One of the well, there are several allegations here.
Yes.
One is that you observed Ms. Borghazi on or about June 24th, 2025, taking pictures of your family while you were in the fenced-in backyard. And you say there Lita was seen by the fence taking pictures of us. Did you see her by the fence taking pictures of you?
I did.
And what was she using as a camera?
Her phone.
Okay. And is this fence, is it a privacy fence or what kind of fence is it?
Yes, privacy.
Okay. And so in order to see through that or take a picture through it, how did she do it?
She had to raise her arms or her arm with the phone.
Okay, over the top of the fence, and then she was photographing down into the yard?
Yeah.
Okay, and can you tell if she is doing photos or videos, or do you know?
Unsure. I was assuming photos, but possibly a video.
Okay, and you say your kids were with you at the time. How old are the kids?
6 and 7.
Okay, boys or girls?
Both girls.
Two girls. And they're what are they doing in the backyard at the time this is all occurring?
Playing, jumping on the trampoline. At that time, my niece was here with her daughter as well. So they were both playing with her on the trampoline.
And how old is your niece's daughter?
She's 2. She'll be 3 actually here in a couple days.
Okay. All right. You do mention making that Ms. Borghazi, you believe, made some police reports on your family. I normally do not count those as harassing or threatening, mainly because, I trust if the police do get involved, well, they're going to come out and investigate, but, they're, not going to typically be threatening to you. They're going to be kind of objective or neutral in their investigation. Is there some reason I should think of these police reports differently?
Yes, because Lita called the police a couple years ago when my daughters were very young and said that one of my daughters was missing, and that was one of the police calls that was just I found very, very strange to even do such a thing. Even though my daughter was inside at the time, she claimed that we had been outside calling her name, which was not true. And so that's why I feel that when she's falsely reporting to the police on matters that are like extremely serious, I find that harassing.
Okay, and the police come and interact with you after she makes these reports? I mean, what happens next?
Um, they said that the time that she called for my daughter missing, um, they just came over and asked where my daughter was. So I brought her out. She had been inside, and so I brought her out. They seen her. They basically just asked me where my daughter had been, and I explained that she was inside even when Lita had called the police. And that's all they really wanted to know was where my daughter was, and then spoke with Lita.
Have there been other occasions when the police came out and interviewed or met with you because of Mrs. Borghazi's calls?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. When was the most recent one?
That would have been very recent.
After the PPO?
Yes.
Okay. How about the most recent one before I signed the PPO?
That would have been for my daughter's father. He also lives here. They came because she said that he was harassing her, and so they came and spoke with him, but I didn't speak with them that time.
Okay, and that one involved some interaction between your daughter's dad and Miss Borghazi, not your kids, it sounds like.
Correct.
Okay. All right. What about and when she's taking the photos, you saw her actually taking the photos?
Yes, the past two previous times that I noted, yes, I saw her with her phone in her hand.
And have you ever found out what she does with the photos? Does she put them online? Does she show them to the police? Can you tell what happens to them after she takes them?
No.
Okay. All right. But your concern is because they're your kids
Yes.
and they're in the private area of your backyard, that there's going to be some improper use made of those.
Yes.
Okay, I got that. How about this next incident here? Is the cat, the kitten? What happened in that case?
The cat, she was missing for almost a week.
When did that occur? About?
It would have been in, I believe, I don't really remember the exact date. I think it was over a couple years ago.
Okay, all right. So maybe it is 2023 or somewhere in that vicinity.
Yeah, I believe it was either March or April. I have the
Okay.
date written down. I don't know the exact date. I just know
Okay.
that when we found her in the backyard, deceased, she was stuck to a flower pot, which I
Was she frozen to it, or well, how did she get stuck to it?
I have no idea. We had been looking for her. There was a baseball game happening actually the day before we found her. So we were out there. There was people out there. We asked, if anybody had seen a cat around, and everybody said no, we haven't seen anything. And then the next day, we went back out again to look, and my boyfriend actually walked back there and, found her placed in these, like a decorative rock area that is directly, behind Lita's fence. And she had already been gone for at least a couple of days because her eyes were sunken in, and she had maggots and stuff like that. So,
And you think that, why do you think that Lita killed the cat?
because she had, I know that she does not like cats. Just the way that she yells at them when they're outside or near her yard. And just, it was odd to me that she was laying with a flower pot too, because I know that Lita has a lot of flowers in her yard in pots that are the same kind of pots that she uses for her flowers. And so
Are they the same, like I'm picturing a red, like a terracotta pot?
yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. And was the kitten in the pot? Did it had been hit with the pot? Could you tell what happened to it?
It seemed like the pot had been used to hurt her. Yes.
Okay. All right. And obviously you didn't see her doing anything to the kitten.
True. Yes, I did not see her. But she was outside the night before at around 12 o'clock in the morning. I did see her out there, not sure what she was doing or, what exactly she was doing. But then the next day, my cat's laying in these rocks underneath the trees right behind her fence. And I kind of just figured that she had something to do with it, because I don't know who else would have placed her there in that manner.
And would she have had to reach over the fence? What kind of fence is it in that area?
Her fence actually opens up in the back. It's a
Okay.
vinyl white fence, and it has a gate that opens.
Okay. So, I mean, in order to place a cat there, she'd have to open up that gate and go out the back gate.
Either that, or she could have just walked out of her garage and walked straight back and then placed her back there. But yeah, that's what I'm assuming, is that she either opened the gate or had to walk along her fence to get back to where it was, which is it's not a far walk.
Okay.
I mean,
Did you make any sort of police report regarding the cat?
I did not, because I wasn't sure what happened, and I wanted to figure out what had happened to her. I really wasn't thinking clearly, because I was just so shocked to find her like that.
Okay. And you have other cats, it sounds like?
I do.
How many?
3.
Okay. And have you ever seen Miss Borghazi threaten or harm any of the other cats?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, tell me about that. What happened?
Seen one of my cats out in in front of the sidewalk in between her house, and the, I guess, village's right of way on the sidewalk. And she came out yelling at the cat to get out of her yard. And I said, it's not in your yard. It was on the sidewalk. And she continued to yell at me and swear at me and say to keep my cats out of her yard. And I told her, I don't think they're going in your yard. I don't think they want anything to do with your yard. You have 2 big dogs. Why would they want to go in your yard? So,
Did she at that time threaten to hurt the cats?
at that time, all she said was to keep them out of her yard. But there was a time before that when, because I have cameras, so I can see, everything that's going on outside now. And there was a cat near her yard in the street. I don't know if it was mine or if it was a neighbor's cat, because the neighbors also have cats.
Mm-hmm.
She came out with looked like some type of a can, and acted like she was going to kind of like hit the cat with the can. She walked towards the cat, and like kind of made a gesture with the can, like she wanted to hit the cat.
Okay, didn't actually hit it, but she made a gesture like she might hit it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other, you said you took your cat, the kitten, to a veterinarian or for a necropsy. Who
Yeah.
did that?
I took the cat.
Okay, to a vet?
No, the vets around here didn't offer necropsies. So I actually had to drive to the Michigan State University in Lansing to have it done. I had to basically surrender her body. I couldn't get her back after that. So
Okay, and you said they gave you, did they give you a written report?
they did.
Okay, and that written report indicated that there was blunt force trauma?
Yes. Yep.
It didn't say the kitten was killed by a flower pot, but that it was hit by something heavy and blunt.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything else regarding cats? I think there's an incident in here that you said she hopes her dogs maul the cats' faces off.
Yes.
When did that happen?
That happened when she called the police saying that my cats were digging up her garden. And I asked, did she have proof that they were in her yard? And they said that she had pictures, but I asked, were they pictures of my cat specifically? And they wouldn't tell me. And
When you say they, are there more people involved than just Miss Borghazi?
the police.
Oh, the police there. Okay.
So the animal control officer that came to my house.
Okay.
So the officer told me that there's not much they can do. It's a cat. There's not really ordinances for cats and stuff like that. So they left. And then after that incident, she was outside and said, if I catch your cats in my yard, I hope my dog mauls their faces off. And then so I'm like, I don't think they're in your yard. I really don't.
And how long ago was that interaction with Miss Borghazi?
At least a couple months ago, when the animal control officer came, it was after that.
Okay, so it was after you found the dead kitten, but
it
before
was.
you filed this PPO.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Sounds like it was after the dead kitten, but before you filed the PPO.
Yes, it was before.
Okay, and before the dead kitten too, or just the PPO?
Just the PPO. It was actually very recent that she said that.
Okay, all right. I think I understand it. And how about the threatening the cats with a can? When did you observe that?
That was not too long after I found my cat dead.
Okay. Okay.
And that's when made me think that she had something to do with it. Well, I thought she had something to do with it anyway, just because I know she doesn't like cats.
Okay. All right. Anything else in terms of threatening or harassing behavior that I haven't asked you about that happened before you requested the PPO?
Yes. And this has more to do with my children and the picture taking. So this would have been, I believe, last year. We had to, me and my boyfriend, our fence was up at that time. And I think it was either the year before, Lita had ran into our fence with a big, like kind of pagoda like machine. I don't know what they're called. It's like has a big bucket scoop on it. And so we ended up having to fix the 2 panels that were on there. We had to take them down. And at that time, my daughter was in the backyard and she saw Lita taking pictures of her, and she came inside to tell me. And so I walked out there to see if she was out there. And she was standing near her garage and her house. There's like a little corner right there that she used to hide and try and take pictures, which because I seen her standing there at that time. And I told her, please don't take pictures of my children. And that was really when the whole pictures were starting to be like a concern for me, because I know that that we had the panels down so she could see right into our yard. But it's such a strange thing to want to take pictures of kids in their yard. I just don't see why you would want to do that or what you would need them for. And so that was one time. And then another time, both of my daughters were out there and they came inside to tell me that she was next to the fence. This was probably in the beginning of this summer. I want to say June at some point in June.
Okay.
My daughters came inside to tell me that she was next to the fence with her phone, taking pictures of them. So I went outside again and I said, I think it must be a crime to take pictures of children, especially when you have a privacy fence. So I told her that if this continued, that I would contact the police, because there's no reason for it.
Okay. All right. And when she hit the fence with Kubota, the backhoe, did you ever ask her to pay for the thing that she damaged or anything of that nature?
I didn't specifically, but eventually, it just stayed broken. My boyfriend just left it that way. I don't know why, but he, I guess, just didn't
Fix it. You
have
said
time.
at one time though the panels were down. Was it because they got hit?
Well, for what?
Were the panels down because the fence got hit with the backloader?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and we're painting it too.
I see. Okay. And at that point you painted it, stained it. He put it back up using the same fence that had been hit, and it just stayed up.
No, Lita had called some company. They came out, they put the panels up. They put new panels up.
Okay. So she did. You own the fence?
No, it's not my fence. My boyfriend paid for it.
Oh, I see. Okay. But yes, it's on your property.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And Lita, in that case, it sounds like she recognized that the backhoe had done the damage and that she was responsible to fix it.
Um, not until it had been almost, I think, a year later, she decided to fix it, because he went out there saying, you broke my fence, and they exchanged words, and then it was a couple days after that the people that she had called came and asked, did we want new panels? And so that was,
Okay. So, I mean, there were words between your boyfriend and her, and then she did fix it.
yes, but not
Okay.
until he had said something about her fixing it.
Okay. All right. Very good. Ms. Borghese, do you have any questions for Ms. Williams?
Your Honor, good afternoon. But everything that there are bits and pieces, very few, but she's obviously a great storyteller. I've found it somewhat amusing, especially this bit about the fence, and
Well,
extremely.
I don't argue the case now. I'll give you a chance to do that at the conclusion. If you have some questions for her, well, she's a sworn witness, and then she'll get the same opportunity when I swear you in to ask you the questions. And, basically it's getting some testimony out there so I can have facts to decide the case on. Do you have any specific questions about those incidents she testified to, for her?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Then thank you, Ms. Williams. You may step down from the witness stand. Now, Ms. Borghese, it's your turn. If you would please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. And uh, Ms. Borghese, I'm going to take you through. This is your motion to terminate the PPO. The first incident that Ms. Williams testified about was this taking pictures, and she described you holding your camera over the top of the fence in order to get pictures of uh, kids or all the people in the backyard. I mean, first of all, did you take pictures?
I've been told by the sheriffs. I mean, years ago, they told me, put up cameras out front. Well, I didn't have the money to, but I've had to spend so much money over the years trying to do what the sheriffs tell me to do. Most recently, as the girls are growing up, I have watched them grow since they were infants because they have been outside. This is long before the fence even went up. The fence is 6 foot tall. I'm 5'5". The only time I have ever held my phone at the fence was just recently, and it was video or voice recording because the sheriffs didn't believe, they said they believed, but they said in order to do anything, I had to prove because my cameras didn't record sound. So I put it up there and I have it recorded and I have it ready for you if I didn't need my phone to hear you.
Yeah, well, you can tell me what it recorded. So you didn't have it recording a picture at the time?
Oh, no, Your Honor, just voice.
Okay, and where did you place it to get the voice recording?
My fence is shortly or a little bit shorter than their wood fence. I have a chain link
Okay.
and I kind of was holding it in between because again, their fence is 6 foot tall.
Yeah, so I mean, you'd have to really stand up on your tiptoes or whatever if you wanted to go over the fence like she said you have. And what you're saying is, yeah, you were there with the phone, but your purpose was to record the audio only.
Correct. And there'd be no way for me to take a picture anyhow when I'm holding the phone and balancing. I'm not that good.
Okay, and so the audio you took, the purpose of taking that was to show the volume and noise, or what if the girl, why were you recording audio?
Um, due to the fact that Kinsey tells her children to scream at my dogs, to irritate my dogs. There's been kazoos. There's the constant screaming. They have friends over, and she tells them, louder, scream louder. Now they're calling my dog the big bad wolf. Oh no, oh no. And as soon as I take them in, they stop. Before my dogs go out, it's quiet. This particular video, or not video, recording, you can hear Kinsey and Arlo, I assume, sitting on their back deck, because once again, I wasn't recording video, just sound, but you can hear him talking to her. And, I have a sleeping disorder. I go basically from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. And she's talking to him and saying, yeah, that's how I know she's outside. I know when she wakes up. And I thought, I didn't even hear that at the time until I played this recording back recently. But then she's saying that I'm on my side, I'm hiding. I never even moved. I just stayed there and recorded this audio. And the girls are screaming, and Kinsey gets louder. I can hear her coming towards me and saying, oh, I'm a pedophile, and stop taking pictures. And I know the girls' voice, after 6 years, I know their voices.
Okay.
Lila, her biological daughter, said, yeah, that bitch. And all summer, they're now using the F word at me. If I walk out front, they scream, Mom, lead us outside. And they do that in the backyard, and they follow me. Kinsey and the girls, they do what their mother tells them to do. And she tells them to irritate my dogs. And then she calls and complains about my dogs barking. So as far as taking pictures, I've never taken pictures of those children unless they are with Kinsey. Kinsey and Arlo, I take pictures of them when they're harming my property. And believe you me, they always have a child with them.
Okay, and tell me about that when they're harming your property, what are they doing?
What are they not doing is the question. It started fence that is actually not on their property. I have previous pictures of what was the original property line. They did not. Arlo has thrown my lawnmower into my front tree. Officers couldn't even get it down without harming the tree. They've thrown away a lawn chair. I called the garbage company to say, did you? Because it was on my property. Yeah, we picked it up because it was next to his garbage can. So that was gone. They overwater. I mean, they literally specifically put their sprinkler next to the fence and water my flowers all night long. I take great pride in my yard and my flowers, and everybody in this village knows it. 16 years. They constantly are killing my yard. She goes out front to my tree. She breaks the branches. I had twinkle lights in it for the last 4 years, 4 at a time. She'd pull them down, break them. I quit putting them up. I didn't put them up last year, and I didn't put them up this year. They're $20 for 2, and I put 4 up. And for 4 years, she broke them. One of them is still laying on the ground because I refused to touch it. I'm just so tired of them harming everything I do to make my house my home. I'm sorry she can't grow anything but weeds. But in between this fence and my house is maybe 2.5 feet now. They put that up immediately after I sighted my home. As far as the girl being in the house, I have no idea what in the heck that story came from. But
Okay, you didn't ever call the police to report one of their daughters missing.
no, I can tell you an incident, which I'm sure she's gotten this story from to her whatever. I was up front. I had sighted my house. Arlo had put up the fence. They now decided to side their house. Great, because it looked awful before. It was a condemned home. But the girls were so little and they're playing in the street and, not my business, but if I see something, I'm going to say something. So I'm out there. Arlo's on my side of his house, putting up siding. I know Kinsey and her mother were inside, and the two little girls are hand in hand on the sidewalk, walking towards Main Street. Now, I am the fourth house down from Main Street. Main Street takes on the highway traffic from 37, and, in the afternoon. This was around that time. And I'm watching those little girls, and I'm waiting for Kinsey or her mother or someone to notice those girls are missing. They almost got to the stop sign. They're just going da da da, They're just little girls, hand in hand, all by themselves. I'm still gardening. I'm seeing this. Arlo's still here. The women are in the house. As much as I didn't want to talk to the man, because I haven't said a word to these people in 2.5 years. But I said, and this was before that though. I said, Arlo, I said, your daughters are almost to Main Street and they're just starting to almost turn that corner. And he just kind of kept doing what he was doing. And then he kind of sauntered around the front into the house, I assume, to ask Kinsey, da da da. He came back out, started working back on the siding. Kinsey finally came out and went after the girls. By this time, they had turned the corner. I didn't call anybody. It's not my place. And I sure as heck wouldn't have called the sheriff. I would have called CPS. That is the only time that I was concerned and talked to them even about their children. That was the only time. And I think I was responsible. I used to be a mother, If for starters, I would know where my two little girls, 2- and 3-year-olds, were. I didn't call anybody. I didn't call the sheriff. I didn't call anybody. I just merely told Arlo, you best go after the girls. He didn't even.
What about the incident about the kitten? Do you know anything about that?
As far as this cat, I am constantly in my kitchen. I didn't even know she had a cat. Okay. Obviously, she was a good pet parent at that time, except for, as she said, it must have been missing. Well, if you were a good pet parent, you'd know where your cat is. I didn't even know she had a cat, but I cook, and I am in my kitchen window all the time. And I see straight out to the ball field over my fence. I can see the top of the rock. I can see the bleachers, the cars, the parking lot, and sometimes the game. But, I see them once they hit the corner of their fence and my fence in the parking lot. And if they're playing right behind my fence, which they used to have the girls do again, annoy my dog. One day, I just happened to be looking. My apologies. I'm computer illiterate. So I just do the best I can.
All right. You were talking about the interaction between cats and dogs, I think?
Yeah, and actually, not so much cats and dogs. I didn't even know she had a cat. I was in the kitchen, again, looking out at, the games and whatnot, doing dishes, cooking, whatever. And I happened to see Kinsey go around the corner of the fence. And I thought, what is she doing? Because they used to have the girls play there to irritate my dog. So I assumed she was up to something. So I continued on and I'm just watching. She goes back into her yard. All of a sudden, both of them, Arlo and her, come over to what looks like they're looking at the rock. She looks like she's crying and goes back towards the house. He walks back. He comes back with a shovel and picks something up. And I thought, okay, carries it or whatever, the shovel, over to his yard. Not paying much attention. I really don't care what those people do as long as they leave me alone. But I do catch out of my peripheral that he's digging a hole. And I thought, what in the heck? And he buried something immediately. Okay, so this business about whatever, if she dug it up and took it to Lansing, that's something I did not see. But I saw them over there. I saw her crying. I saw him go get something. I saw him dig a hole. And before he finished, I was done and I left because I had no idea what they were doing. To blame
You didn't hurt the kitten.
I didn't even know she had one.
Okay.
And why would I? I was a vet.
All right. What about threatening the cats by, gesturing with a can?
No, I don't even know what kind of can she'd even be talking about. I've never gone out other than to my porch when those cats are sitting on the sidewalk, digging up my bulbs or peeing on my wood in my driveway. You know how many pictures I have of those cats in my yard? How they want to come here. They know I have dogs. One of the orange one that is noticeable and pretty much lives here, along with the two gray ones. And she used to have 2 orange and 2 gray just recently after I started being accused of killing a cat. But they go in my garage. They've gone into my back. This spring, they have peed and wrecked my greenhouse. I had to buy another one. They're out front. The orange ones actually sat on top of my fountain, just inches away from my window. My dog's barking. The cat's still just sitting there looking in my window. They are not afraid because they know my dogs can't get them. Over the street, they go. If they're not living at my house, they go across the street. And
you're saying that the cats that you were talking about, that you think that Miss Williams just got those recently after this kitten incident happened.
I only noticed these 4 cats this year. Last year, I broke my leg, and I was pretty much inside until, I'm going to say, even February of this year, from August of last year. The kid across the street, the man across the street, in his 30s, I call him a kid. So sweet that family is. They helped me every day because I couldn't get out of my house. So this is from August of last year until February. This year, as far as, that's what I'm saying, is I didn't even know she had 4 cats. He told me.
Have you made any animal control reports about the cats?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. And what's come of those?
They tell me they won't do anything because they're cats. I've contacted the village. I have sent all these pictures of the cats being loose because it's a village ordinance that they not be I have sent, I don't know how many pictures to them. They take them, they file them, and they're like, you're going to have to call the sheriff to get rid of them. I call the sheriff doesn't want to do anything. After several calls trying to get somebody, because they drive my dogs nuts. I mean, I have a shepherd and a husky. Of course, they're going to go nuts at the windows.
Supposedly they're natural enemies of each other. Have you threatened to have your dogs maul the faces off the cats?
Whoever thought of that is gross and mentally ill. That is, again, I was a veterinarian. And as far as cats and dogs, cats actually get the first scratch at the eyes. Why would I put my dogs in danger? When I know those cats are in my backyard, I will not let my girls out because they are everywhere all the time. They're in my garage. But no, I have never threatened the animals. I've never gone after any of them. And why would I go to the right of way and yell and threaten at a cat that was across the street? I have wanted to get a spray bottle of water and spray them, but I know better than to do anything. I will open my door and go, shh, but I don't come off my porch. But they're so close to me, they run to the fence line. They don't even go home. I think those cats are thirsty. That's why they come over here. And I've even thought I've wanted to actually, because they're here so much, I figure they're looking for food and they're drinking out of my fountain. I've wanted to put food out and I thought, no, that will only make them come here more. But my heart wanted to. Don't tell me I've done anything to those cats. I may think of doing something good and spray them, but I've never followed through. I didn't even know she had a cat or kitten, whatever. I did see what I told you. I have several
That was
pictures.
your only contact that you had. I mean, any knowledge that you had of the incident she described regarding the kitten was seeing the aftermath where the kitten was moved with a shovel from behind your yard into their yard to be buried, it looked like to you.
Correct. And again, I didn't even know that's what they were moving.
Sure.
And moving
Yeah, you
until
saw something going on, but you couldn't tell at the time.
all of a sudden I'm being screamed at outside, you cat killer. And I'm like, what? So yeah, no, I have no idea.
Miss Williams, do you have any questions for Miss Borghazi?
I do.
Go ahead.
Oh boy, where do I start? So as far as the cat goes, she says that I owned 4 cats, 2 gray and 2 orange before. Never have I owned 4 cats at once.
Okay, well, and like I told Miss Borghazi, don't make it so much in an argument, but if you have a question
Yeah.
for her about the number of cats, then go ahead and make that up and ask her.
Question: how did you know that I owned cats before? If you're saying that you didn't know, how did you know before?
Before what?
How did you know that I owned cats before?
Oh,
Because we had my cats for a year now. The cats that I had prior, you're saying you didn't know I owned cats. How did you know I owned cats before?
2 questions there, but before this kitten supposedly died, I had no idea what you had other than Bear, your dog. Again, I broke my leg in August, as you well know, and the kids across the street, Nick and Lindsay, lived there with 3 children, but Nick helped me every day. He'd come across the street. I don't know, we were talking or something, and I said, because you were screaming at me that I was a cat killer. And I said, I didn't even know it just came up one day. Again, I had a hospital bed, couldn't get out of my living room. from August until probably Christmas. I finally started, but Nick said, because I told him, I said, I didn't even know she had a cat. How could I kill something I didn't know? And why would I? He said, well, she's got 4 cats now. Did you know? I said, you're kidding me. He said, yeah, she's had them all year. So whatever you had before you started accusing me of being a cat killer, I had no idea you had any cats. I only knew you had Bear. After, yes, this past year, when I started moving again since about January, I kind of was looking, why are my dogs barking? And I wind up having pictures of all 4 cats. Now, there's been cat fights in my backyard. Maybe you lost another one and you only have 3 now. But I have verbal. That's the only way I knew from Nick is that you had 4 cats.
Any other questions, Ms. Williams?
No.
Okay, all right then. Thank you, Ms. Borghazi. You may step down from the witness stand at this time. All right, this is the motion to terminate Ms. Williams' order. And then I'll take up the question of Ms. Borghazi's order as well. The main incidents supporting the order here were, at least as far as I was concerned, like I say, police reports I normally don't concern myself with, although in this case, the missing child report, Ms. Borghazi claims she didn't call the police, but rather just told the boyfriend and that he ultimately did go and get the kids during, the one incident she recalls being concerned about the whereabouts of the children. The second incident here is the alleged recording by the phone. Miss Williams indicates that there were photographs taken of her and her husband and children, and then also of videos of the children in the backyard, although she acknowledges that she hasn't seen those videos or photographs, nor seen them posted on Facebook, etc. There's no indication of how, if the photos are taken, of what they're being used for. Ms. Borghazi testified today that she was not taking photos with the phone over the fence, but rather recording the level of noise and what the kids were saying on the other side of the fence. So that one, again, I cannot make a conclusion. I weigh the evidence as about equal on both sides. There is a different perception, at least, as to what's going on. However, without any, misused or inappropriate photographs that are taken of the kids or invading that privacy, I don't really have enough to go on to say, who's telling me the truth. Ms. Borghazi indicates she could play the audio. I haven't heard that, but I, don't have any reason to doubt that there's audio of because she said she was trying to record, whatever was being said in the yard and the door next to her. But her purpose in doing that was to make a police report or gather evidence to use in the police report of what she was hearing through the fence. The third incident here cited is the killing of the kitten. I don't have any doubt that a kitten was found dead and potentially killed by blunt force trauma. Description by Miss Williams is that the cat on top of that was found near a flower pot of the type that's used by Miss Borghazi. However, I will note that, of course, that is a very common type of flower pot. There are many of them out there. And, of course, no one saw the kitten being killed or the manner of death other than that it was blunt force trauma. It could have simply been, i.e. the cat might not have been killed by the flower pot. The cat could have been hit with a stick or a rock or something like that. And of course, it didn't have to be by Miss Borghese. It was found, the kitten was found behind her house, but it didn't have a note on it saying, you better watch it, or I hate cats, or anything like that. And Miss Borghese has testified today unequivocally and wisely, because it would be a criminal offense, of course, to kill someone else's pet, that she didn't have anything to do with killing the cat, and further that, she was involved in the past providing veterinary services, and that no matter how much she might dislike a particular cat's activities, that's just simply not in her to kill an animal in that violent a manner. And I will take note, there weren't any other other than the can gesture towards cats testified to. Again, that I don't have video or anything of that nature, so it's just one word against the other. I can't find for certain that occurred, the threatening of the cats or the threat to have the dogs maul the cats' faces off, which certainly would be threatening or harassing conduct with regard to someone else's pet. I can't find for certain that those words were used. And as Miss Borghese did testify, she, wouldn't say something like that because of her past caring for animals. That wouldn't be something she would say. And I will note, in her writings and testimony today, in both parties, neither of them have used foul or obscene language. So, it would at least be out of character for what I'm observing of the witnesses to say something along those lines. So there are repeated additional police calls, but as I said, those don't normally rise to the level of a protective order. So in conclusion, I cannot find that there are two incidents that occurred by a preponderance of the evidence here in order to support this protective order, and the protective order favoring Miss Williams will be terminated at this time. I am going to move next, and because of that, that will also result in a I won't need to hear the alleged order to show cause a violation, since I've terminated the protective order. The violation is what we call moot, or not properly before the court at this time. I am going to move next to Miss Borghazi's request for a protective order. Her petition, and she appealed that. At this time, I have heard extensive testimony and quite a bit about what was going on. I guess I do have at least one more question for Miss Borghazi here. You're saying the girls, you believe, are intentionally aggravating your dogs. Now, what I've heard there is, well, they're loud, they blow on kazoos, things of that nature. I have to say, I raised a bunch of kids myself. That sounds like normal 6 and 7-year-old behavior. What are they doing that specifically is designed or intended to irritate your dogs, if you can tell?
Well, typically, it's only when Kinsey knows I'm awake, and the girls, my dogs, go outside, and if the girls are home, her girls are home, which was all summer, and when they now come home from school, they go out there, they're kids, they're going to make noise, they're going to have fun with their friends. That's all well and fine. Again, I was a mother too, I understand, but Kinsey will go out there and tell them to scream, literally scream. Sometimes it's just a scream. Other times they're like, get the dog. And I don't know. They'll just go on. And now it's the big bad wolf, and the kazoos lasted 2 days, and they were up and down the fence. They run my large dog up and down the fence to the point I have to bring her in because she's breathing so hard. My 2.5-year-old dog, the husky, I have to beg her to go outside. to go potty because of the screams. She's so afraid of this because she doesn't know what it is. She can't see. Now, Ivy, my large one, she used to play with Bear. They would go up and down the fence, but for the last few years, she doesn't allow that any longer. Why, I don't know. She puts Bear out front. He's a, oh gosh, I can't even think, a Pomeranian. And he and Ivy are the same age. So, of course, they're playing. They live right next to each other, except now he's being kept away from playing. The girls are out there screaming, calling her names. The little one doesn't bark. It's just my Ivy. And they terrorize her. And over the
You
years,
say they're calling her names, you mean the big bad wolf or other stuff?
oh, other stuff, because like I said, these girls, I've had Ivy 5 years. Okay. I adopted her from the Humane Society. And as those girls have been growing up, they are getting more and more aggressive. So it was little things. But see, it'd be okay if it was just once in a while. You know, kids do that. It is every single day, 365. Something is happening with Kinsey, Arlo, or the girls, aggravating, harassing, stalking. They will go from the front yard to the backyard. If they're bothering me in the back, I come work out front. If I'm working out front and they're out there, because Kinsey will move the girls out there, Arlo will come out, I go back to the back. I'm just so tired of it. I can't. That's why I've brought this case to the court for her and Arlo. 6 years is enough. I'm going to be 59. I've been here 16 years. I do not need 30-year-olds ruining my property, my life, my mental health, and my dogs. I worry every day about what they've thrown over the fence today because they throw mice, they throw twigs, she's even thrown poo. You know, I just can't take it anymore.
Are you talking about the high fence, Miss Borghazi, the privacy fence?
Yes. My fence is 6 foot, but it's black chain link. And theirs is wood, and it's, you know, it just is a little bit higher than mine.
And to clarify, does that privacy fence run the length of the property, front yard and backyard, or just the backyard?
No, he's got all the way from the backyard solid up until he gets to the front corner of my house. And then he's got a picket, you know, 3 foot or whatever is required. I have.
Your dogs, do they have access along the whole length of the privacy fence, or are they just inside the chain link portion?
I have a white privacy fence across the back. I do have a gate. And then both sides up to both corners of my house is 5 foot on one side, 6 foot on the other, chain link fence. The only reason why I have chain link on their side is because Arlo took down the 2 panels. I didn't even know they were gone. My Ivy ran over there and he came after us with a live chainsaw. I'm trying to get Ivy back and she's jumping at him, and I could have sworn he was going to cut her. I finally got her back. I immediately called my fence company and had that put up. As far as the panels go, yes, I did hit those. I was excavating my backyard. And I, again, called the fence company that next day. And as I did it, Arlo come out, was taking pictures. And I yelled at him from the tractor, "Don't worry about it. I know I did it. I will fix it." But I didn't even break them down. I just damaged them. But they came the next day and put up 2 more panels. He then took them down. My dog went through. So I got that a little backwards, but
Okay, and you didn't use the time when the fence panels were down to film the girls playing in the backyard?
I'm computer illiterate. I didn't even start taking pictures and videos until 2 years ago. Now, I excavated 4 years ago.
Okay, so this was quite old that occurred.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me when you go to the front yard, are your dogs only in your backyard or can they go in the front yard as well?
No, they're completely fenced in the backyard. And I used to bring the girls out on chains in front of my, through my garage to lay in the driveway, totally cut off from any visual unless you're walking by. But I can't even do that anymore because of Kinsey going by and with her dog standing out there. I mean, it's just constant aggravation.
And so when you're saying the girls will move or someone will move to irritate you in the front yard, what does that look like? If I get it that you're saying they're getting your dog all worked up in the backyard. If you move to the front yard, do the girls move too? What is it? What happens?
They all do. They all do.
Okay,
And
parents and girls.
yes.
And when they're out there in the front yard, are they saying stuff or what are they doing?
Well, pretty much the girls are playing and they do play with the three children across the street and it's just normal noise. But if that's not happening and Kinsey's bored, I guess, she will have them. I have a large picture window in the front of my house and I have an inside porch, which is all glass. I leave my door open but locked. And of course, they can't see out the other window because the fence is right there. So those are the two front areas that they look. They are loyal dogs, so they always want to know as much time as possible where I am. So when they're out there, they know this. If they walk by, if they jump around out front, if those cats are out front, they do it intentionally. They just don't walk by. They will saunter and play by and then come back across from the driveway to their property. And the whole time, Ivy's just going nuts.
You're talking about the kids.
Kinsey as well, and her sister, and the grandmother, and any friends they happen to have over. They enlist everybody that visits them, children and adults.
Are the adults doing anything to get the dogs riled up in your observation?
In the front yard, they'll just stand there, and they talk so loud. The whole street knows exactly what they're saying over there because they echo. And when Ivy barks out the front window, I have to have it closed. But she echoes. Our houses are close, and so everything echoes, and it goes all the way down the street. All their complaining about me, about my dogs, and they stand on the edge of the property. Okay, Ivy can see them. Ivy can hear them. It aggravates Ivy. She's a shepherd. She has a very, very deep voice. And so when she barks, ain't nobody coming in my house because they know Ivy. Ivy is the sweetest dog ever. She just has a deep voice. And people are afraid from day one when I adopted her and brought her home because she's big and she has a deep voice.
Any questions, follow-ups for Ms. Borghazi, Ms. Williams? This is regarding her application for a PPO that I denied.
No.
Okay, very good. Then I'm going to give you a chance to talk about that. What about these incidents, the allegations that you're intentionally having your girls yell, sometimes obscene terms, you know, F this and she's a bitch type things, over the yard? Does that happen?
No,
Okay. Do you allow your children to use that language, when they're under your supervision?
absolutely not. No.
Okay. So if they're doing it, it's not with your okay or at your direction.
Oh, they don't do it.
Okay. What about throwing stuff over the fence?
No, never have I thrown anything over that fence, and neither have my children.
Your Honor, I do have something to say. If
I'll
I
give
may.
you a chance again, Ms. Borghese, in just a moment here. I just want to make sure I get all the bases covered here. Okay. No, I think I've what about the incidents that she was talking about with the lights in the tree?
No, I have never touched the lights in the tree nor the tree. I don't even go near the tree close enough to even touch it.
Okay. All right. All right. Ms. Borghese, what did you want to say?
Two things. Actually, we can just address the tree right now.
Okay, sure.
She's always trying to damage my tree. And again, for the last 2 years, I quit putting lights in it. The 3 years or whatever prior, I would put 4 lights in it. They're these solar lights. You know, as you can see, this one is broke. It's just one of the many over the years. But I believe it was last year before I broke my knee. I see Kinsey out where my tree is with both girls, and she's breaking it, just breaking it. And I smartly took my phone and started recording. I walked out and I'm recording her, and she's talking to the girls. They're laughing at breaking my branches. And I said, "What are you doing? Leave my tree alone." Blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't know. Obviously, she was drunk that day. I did not know that at the time, but she then come around to the sidewalk, front part still grabbing at my tree, breaking the branches. It's a decorative tree. It's a bush, but it's like a tree. Okay.
And to clarify about the tree, is it entirely on your property, or are there branches that hang over her property?
Well, what they think is their property. Yes, there used to be that it was over there. But
Okay.
every year, Arlo goes out there and cuts it down. My tree is so damaged. But it's very important I finish this story about her
Okay.
break. She then grabbed my phone out of my hands, held it behind her. She happened to have a ponytail that day, and she wouldn't give it back. And I grabbed her ponytail. She started screaming I was abusing her while she's holding my camera, my phone, while it was videoing. And I let go because I realized what I had done. Someone came and grabbed my phone, took it in the house. My mother saw this going on. She was alive at the time. She called the sheriff, and they came. They recorded the video. They went and talked to her, and then they came back over, and there was 2 officers, male and female. The female officer come over, and she said she snockered. And I went, "Really?" I said, "Well, didn't know." And Kinsey went to jail for breaking my tree, stealing my phone, and being publicly intoxicated.
You're saying she was ultimately convicted of that?
I don't know how long she was gone, but the officers felt the need because they saw my video. They ran my phone. They took their cameras and watched the whole video, and they made a police report, and they hauled her butt off to jail.
Was that in Kent County? Was the Kent County Sheriff's and that?
Yes, sir. We live on the Kent County side of Casnovia.
All right. Ms. Williams, what happened in that incident with the Sheriff's Department per your recollection?
Um, I was charged with disorderly conduct for yelling. That was it.
Okay, so you pled guilty ultimately in district court for disorderly conduct?
I did, yeah.
Okay, all right. And that came out of that same incident that Ms. Borghazi's talking about. What date did that all occur? About?
Oh boy, I don't even know. Maybe last year before, could have been September sometime.
Okay. And you're done with your involvement with the court. You're not on probation or anything of that nature at this time? Okay. All right. Well, potentially the incident with the grabbing the hair, grabbing the phone, that could be a single incident. However, the other ones, regarding the tree and regarding upsetting the dogs here and telling the girls, to say cuss words or incite, um, a response over that fence. I simply can't find enough incidents, and one single incident is not enough to grant one of these neighbor PPOs. So I am also going to deny the uh, uh, application by Ms. Borghese or I'm going to affirm my denial of that PPO. I denied that one when I initially got it as not rising to the level required for a PPO. I guess that will leave the two of you there with no PPOs in place. I mean, and like I say, I view the situation here as it's very unfortunate. It's clearly the two of you have grown very upset with the other over time. I don't think that's limited to the stuff in the PPO here. I think there's more going on than meets the eye in terms of, who's putting up what on their houses and fences and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I can tell you, there's not a whole lot that the law can do to tell neighbors to be friends or get along with each other. The best we can do is tell you, well, don't go out there and hurt or hit the other person. Stay within the bounds of the law. If you think someone else is breaking the law or violating an ordinance, call the police or the village or whoever, is in charge of enforcing that ordinance and make a report of it. And then ultimately, the door to the courthouse is open. The two of you, either of you could apply for a PPO going into the future here. Again, if you think the conduct arises to that level. But as I see it now, it's and I mean the one incident where the sheriffs did get involved, that's exactly the kind of thing that the law is trying to avoid is the two people, going toe to toe and hurting each other or potentially hurting each other. It doesn't sound like either of you got injured, fortunately, in that incident. But obviously, those are, it got so bad with neighbors in Ottawa County that there was a guy who was at my age, 59, had a feud with his neighbor for 20 years about where they put the snow off their driveways. And one day, middle of the winter, the thing came up again and he got a pistol and shot her, slid her body down the hill in back of her house on a sled, is now serving a life sentence without parole for first-degree murder because he shot his neighbor. So, those things can get very irritating and under your skin, but I would say, and I'll bet you that guy, I obviously haven't any contact with him, and fortunately was not in Kent County. But I'm guessing after cooling off for a couple of years in the Department of Corrections, he's saying, boy, I wish I'd done some things differently there. Not that he would ever been friends or liked that lady, but certainly there was something else, than that tragic ending to the drama that wound up there. So, that's what I would challenge the both of you as is, none of these legal things are going to change the fact that you're neighbors or make you be best friends with each other. What I would challenge you to both do is try to figure out ways to keep the peace, so that you can live peacefully, and within the boundaries of your home. And if you feel like the law is being broken, well, then can't reach out to law enforcement. But I can't promise you any of those, as you both, contacted law enforcement. And clearly, that though it can solve some issues, it's not a long-term solution to the problem either. That we have to offer. It's my experience with people is that turning to these legal things, because there's no way I can ever know the totality of the relationship. I don't live in Casnovia. In fact, I'm not even sure I've been to Casnovia. So, I'm trying to put it into context in my head sitting here, and I'm doing it, probably less effectively than other people can. So, what I'm hoping is that the two of you can find a way forward. After all, it seems like you're both responsible people. You take care of pets, kids, dogs. You're moms. You have it's not as if the only thing you do is sit in the house and wait for the neighbor to violate the thing. You both have lives that go beyond that. I'd encourage you, emphasize the good stuff. Try to make a way to, forward to allow the relationship to work as best as it can, knowing it's never going to be perfect. And if you feel the need, then the courthouse doors do remain open for either of you to file a PPO going forward if you think it's needed. I just couldn't find enough evidence on either side today beyond that standard of a preponderance of the evidence to hold the PPO in place. So I thank you both for you've both been very polite. Honest, I think, in your communications today. It's very clear that there are some major disagreements, but nonetheless, you both sat through an hour here of having communication without, feeling the need to scream at each other. And I can tell you, I do these hearings almost every Friday afternoon, and that doesn't always work out that way. So that tells me that the both of you, when you're at your best, have the ability to work things out. My only challenge to you is that you figure out a way between you and that works for you and your families to move forward as best you can from this point. And I do thank you for both being polite and civil during the hearing today, and I wish you both a safe and pleasant weekend. With that, we are concluded.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me. What is going on today? This is a joke. Today is absolutely an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself somehow.
Oh my God, sir, put that cigarette out. I don't give a crap that you are outside of this. What is wrong with everybody today? You know what, Miss Green, we're going to start bringing people in person. People going to learn how to act in a courtroom.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Ma'am? Ma'am? Can you hear it?
Times like these,
Okay.
come and go so fast.
I'm sitting up here, I'm the one that needs a drink.